The Bring Women Back to Work podcast aims to inspire, empower, and elevate women returning to the workforce by sharing authentic stories, experts' insights, and practical strategies to navigate career transition, building confidence, and thrive in a modern work environment. It's a platform to spotlight the real journeys of women who have re-entered the workplace or wants to re-enter the workplace, the leaders and allies who champion them, and the companies creating more inclusive future. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Bring Women Back to Work podcast. Part of why we want to create this podcast for our community was to build a space for women who have completed the Bring Women Back to Work program to share their story, their experience, and their advice with other women, and also to celebrate their successes following the year-long program. So in this episode, we are thrilled to have as our guest former Bring Her Back to Work participant, Diana Tepr. Diana, welcome and thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Vanessa. So happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Tell us a bit about yourselves and your journey before joining Bring Her Back to Work.
Well, I've always been in technology. I joined Hewlett-Packard HP just after graduating from business school in France. So I was an intern and then I worked for 12 years in different roles. I started in sales, then I moved into marketing, then I did alliances, and then a different plot twist took place in my life. And I had to veer my career into a new challenge, let's say. So my career kind of had to take a pause when I had my twins, and I wasn't really expecting to have two at the same time. I still remember when my manager asked me, she's like, "So you're sure you'll be back after maternity, like in 4 months?" That's what you get when you have kids in Switzerland. And I was like, of course, 100%. I'm going to be back. And then when I was actually back, I looked more like a zombie than the previous version of myself. I was like from The Walking Dead, I slept only in 1 hour increments the whole night. Well, I bet you can relate. You have 2 kids, you know the script. So then I looked at her and I said, you know what? I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this at 100% anymore. And I need to take a little break. And I did. So that was my I think about my career like before the kids and after the kids. So before the kids, 12 years of corporate. Then during the kids, I embraced a lot of changes in my life. I said, okay, I wanted to spend more time with them anyways. Physically, it was intense, but also emotionally, I wanted to be there, a little bit longer. And then I said, look, since I'm doing it all and I stepped out of corporate, why don't I start also my own business? That has always been a dream of mine. I was in marketing at Hewlett-Packard, and you know how it is. You manage a lot of agencies, but you don't actually have the hands-on experience. And that's something that I was missing. So I said, okay, I'll actually step away. I'll build my own company. I'll learn stuff more hands-on marketing. And then when the twins went to school, I was like, okay, now it's time to move back into corporate. And it actually wasn't as easy as I thought it would, and that's when a friend of mine told me about BWBW, Bring Women Back to Work. I had no idea what it was. Honestly, I had never heard of Salesforce before, but I said, okay, why not? It sounds good. The title speaks to me. So let's go ahead and join this program.
But wait. So you are really too fast. You are already closing my entire podcast right now, telling the story of all. But just, going a bit back, right? So you were expecting to go back after 16 weeks with twins. This is what happened when we are so enthusiastic and when we work and we love what we do. And then life teaches different because obviously twins needs more attention, very difficult, sleep, everything, right?
Right.
You decided then to take a career break. was it always clear at home that you will take the break and not your husband? Tell me a bit about this.
Oh, we're going into a whole new arena here. Somehow it was expected. Look, what I found funny from the start is that you have two kids at the same time, right? Do you get 8 months maternity leave? No, you get the same as if it was one kid, double the effort, the same. But my husband, he worked at Philip Morris at the time, and they actually gave him twice the paternity days, because it was 2 kids. HR said it was 2 kids.
Well done, PMI.
Right? So I was a little bit surprised, but no, you get the same 4 months. And I didn't really plan to stay that long. I thought I'm going to take another 4 months. And, once I start sleeping better and functioning better, I can go back to work. But that actually took quite a while. And the question was not given us. Like it was, the mom has to stay home.
Is it the behavior? Is it a cultural behavior, or was it you that you decided upfront?
Well, just the logistics, you're feeding the babies, all that stuff. So it's like, okay, mom has to stay home. We didn't even really discuss. I think in my mind, it was like, okay, first 4 months, then I'm going to stay another 4 months. It was never really a long, permanent situation, But then it's like when you have never seen your baby before, right? You think that it's going to be so easy to just drop them off in childcare and so on. Plus, another thing that came up was the childcare costs. I would have had to, because it was 2 kindergartens at 100%, because I was working in Geneva and I live in Lausanne, it would have been almost my whole salary going on childcare. So that's another thing, in Switzerland.
Yeah. So how long had you the break finally?
Finally, it was 4 years.
4 years in total.
Yeah.
And then when you discovered the Bring You Back to Work program, that was the 4th year already, or was it in the 3rd?
Yes, it was after the 4th year. That's when they went to school and I had more time, to manage my life.
And what motivated you to apply to the program?
I heard about the program from a friend. And as I told you, I didn't really know much about Salesforce when I did. But then, the title spoke to me, Bring Women Back to Work. And, I still strongly believe that the message and the title, it really resonates with a lot of women, especially here in Switzerland. But also when I looked through what the program entitled, it's an investment. It's an investment of your time. It's not just, you're part of a community, you signed up for something and there's no follow-up or, it's not clear what it is. It's actually very clear what the program is. You're committing your time. It's like 180 hours of your own time. You're committing to learn a new ecosystem, maybe new roles. So to me, coming from tech, it was amazing because I did a little bit of software, but I did a lot of hardware, sales at HP. So the whole SaaS software sales was new and Salesforce as an ecosystem was new. So I was really, really looking forward to find out more about it.
Great. And the Bring You Back to Work name was always at the beginning, it was a program name or an initiative name. I wanted to develop the name, but then it went viral. Everybody knew the program by the name of Bring You Back to Work. So it was impossible to change it again.
It's a good name. I love it.
But many women can relate to this. So in fact, like you said, right? And what are some specific skills that you can say you learned that in the program and that have been valuable for your return to work?
Absolutely. I think most valuable was really the Salesforce the administrator training. Till now, I work at a different company now, but the ground up knowledge of the platform of CRM, like how it's built, it was absolutely tremendously helpful and useful. And then I also really enjoyed we had the personal branding workshops, the public speaking workshops. It's and also the community, it's the program develops you in so many different ways It gives you technical confidence. Now you also have Workday, which are, Salesforce and Workday. They're the two enterprise platforms that are used almost everywhere now. So just being grounded technically, but also having the community, the support, and being exposed to like mentorship and guidance from people like you, Vanessa, or Valerie, it was really great. I think it's like a multi-tiered program and it really works,
Thank you for your thoughts and your sincerity around the program. You were there and then you found a job, right?
Yes.
Within Salesforce right away?
Yes. Yeah, I don't remember, within the 6th, 7th month maybe of the program. Yeah, I had the opportunity of joining Salesforce. And during the program, I had the great mentor from Salesforce, Valérie Criston, who is still my friend. And she was also awesome at helping me just understand the different options that are available, within the ecosystem and within Salesforce itself. Because I was a little bit, confused. What is a solution engineer? What is this? What is that? So she had a lot of patience and she helped me understand the roles. And she helped me also prepare for the interviews and the panels and the demos.
Well, that's the goal, right, of a mentor and the network itself.
Yeah.
Can you say that this was a moment during the program that was especially meaningful or transformative for you, or can you relate to something else?
Yeah, definitely getting a job at Salesforce was a transformative moment because I was back on a corporate career track. But I remember during the program, for me, one moment that is still very vivid in my mind was when I saw you on stage during the BWBW event in Zurich. I think it was also like close to your birthday or something, if you remember. And there was 2 other women panelists with you. There was Petra Jenner, who was the GM of Salesforce back in the day. And Yvonne Betcover, she was another woman. AWS, and also GM. So there were 3 very strong women on stage. And what hit me was that they were speaking about you guys were speaking about the same challenges that we all face, that I was facing myself, like when you miss kids' birthdays or, a little bit of a mom guilt that still exists, or that you just have to prioritize also what's important to you. And if career is what you want to do, you do that. But it just showed me that we're all the same, we share the same stories, maybe different versions of a story. And that allowed me to relate and to motivate myself. I'm like, well, these ladies, they can do it. So why not me? Maybe I am ready to go back into corporate.
Indeed, there are all strong women in the industry and also mothers. And I think there are great mothers, all of them. So I was also very inspired by their story. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced as you re-entered the workforce? Obviously, after you had your experience with Salesforce and then you moved on to another opportunity, and that's it, right? The important thing is that you comes out of the break and with 1 feet in the industry, and then you move on, right? What was the challenge you faced as you re-entered the workforce?
Yeah, I think maybe many can relate. It's always a little bit of like an imposter syndrome, right? Because you've been out. And I was expecting that corporate changed so much. I thought, the train went like an express into different directions. But what struck me the most was that actually maybe the tools changed, but it was all pretty much the same as when I left. It didn't change that much. More stuff was on the cloud, but that was pretty much it. So I think it's more like the mental obstacles that we create for ourselves, saying, oh, it's going to be hard, when actually maybe it's not as hard as we imagine. So the challenge was really to just believe in myself, also reinvent myself along the way. I had a very successful marketing job, like marketing career. So then I joined as a salesperson at Salesforce. So, changing roles, changing different industries, but it's all possible. You just have to tell yourself, oh, why not? Let's give it a try.
And talking about mindset, right? So one of the reasons why we have mental health in the program is exactly this, because so many women face issue in believing in themselves back, right? And it's incredible what this makes with those women who are longer out of work and they wanted to go back and they feel like they are not enough. They feel guilty for everything. So their confidence goes down. And this is one of the reasons why we focus on mental health in the program as well. But being on the topic of mindset, was there a mindset or support system that you made a real difference in your journey back to work? I mean, you already said mindset was very important to shift.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember I watched like a TED talk about growth mindsets, and I tried to also teach it to my kids, being open to just learning and saying, look, today I won't be perfect, but I'm learning. And every day I'm going to become better and better. Just say that there's certain roles or certain experiences that are stepping stones. It's not like Rome wasn't built in a day. So I see a vision, see where you need to end up, and then just go step by step, believe in yourself and pave your own way. But definitely growth mindset.
Now that you're a couple of years already out of the program, 2 years, 3 years, how many?
I think 3, yeah.
Tell us about your career since completing the program. Where are you now and what are you working on?
Yeah, so I worked at Salesforce in sales, which I really, really enjoyed. It was another tremendous learning experience. And now I'm selling marketing automation. So I'm a sales director for another software company. And I focused on enterprise sales in Switzerland and in DACH. It's been, a roller coaster from marketing back to, I started my career in sales. Then I went into marketing alliances. Now I'm back to sales. So, the learning is you never know. Keep reinventing yourself, reinvent the wheel, but as long as you're optimistic, positive, everything's going to work out.
That's true. And how was participating in Bringing Back to Work influenced your confidence, career ambition, or perspective in general on your work and life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that because it's structured, you have to attend calls, you have to go to meetings, there's presentations, it brings you slowly and easily back into getting used to a corporate environment, back to, more professional setting. And that I really enjoyed. It was like a soft, easy transition into corporate. I really loved the structure. I loved that there was trainings, there was milestones within the program, and think that structures also your day. It structures your mindset, and it was, I think the way it's thought out, it's really cool.
Yeah, indeed. It's slowly, getting to a habit of time, schedule, responsibility outside home. And Diana, what advice would you give to other women who are in the program, but also wants to return to work in general and are feeling stuck or unsure somewhere?
Yeah, just take the leap, believe in yourself, leap of faith. It's going to work out. And it's all in our own head. Obstacles are mostly 95% in our head. The world is a little bit maybe simpler. Once you remove these obstacles from your head and you say, look, what happens? What if it does work out? I think I also watched the podcast from Mel Robbins. She has this book, The Let Them Theory. It's amazing. I recommend it to everybody. But the main idea is what if it does work out? I mean, I would regret not being part of this program, more than what if something doesn't go exactly as planned. So to me, just believe in yourself, think that it can all work out. And definitely, I wish everybody to enjoy the program. It gives all the skills. There's all the resources that anyone who's returning back to work might need. And yeah, enjoy the ride.
Thank you. And is there an advice that you could give to companies? You said at the beginning it was difficult, just 16 weeks, twins.
Yes.
I just had the option to leave or stay 100%. And is there something you would like to give to companies as an advice, as a mother and a business professional?
I thought about this myself. If I could start a movement, I would. Because I think that in Zurich, maybe you have more flexibility. There's like the job sharing option or whatever. I live in the Swiss French part. There's not a lot of flexibility here. But it would have been great if there were options like you can return to work at, 50% or just less, or you could take an extra, 4 months and then come back to your own job, or maybe 1 year. Definitely politics like this in a workplace. I know that we're already very lucky. If I compare to my HP colleagues, from the US, we get 10 days of maternity. That's insane. But still, I think a little bit more time is great for our own. If we would have more time to stay home with the kids, it's not only great for us, but also for the kids. And more flexible arrangements. Like if within the first year, I'm more comfortable working from home, just give it the opportunity, give it flexibility. And I think that's something that's missing. Or give double the maternity for people who had 2 kids at the same time.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. I haven't thought about this, but you are right. So this will be in my next article, The Silent Exit. I will include definitely this part too. Yeah. And we will see what other companies think. And last but not least, we are coming to the end of this great podcast. Do you have a message you wish to leave with our community?
Yeah, I actually wanted to thank you, Vanessa, for everything you do. Yes, because, I also worked at Salesforce. I know how intense the roles are. And I know how hard you work in your actual daily work. And the fact that you're doing this along with your role at Salesforce, it's amazing. And that you make time and you motivate people. You're always there. Like, I just wanted to acknowledge also your work and all this. So, yeah.
In this answer. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, It was a pleasure talking to you. It was a pleasure being part of the community and definitely of a program. So,
and you are still, you are still part of the community. You are an alumni, and we are very happy to have you with us. And also from my side, Diana, thank you so much for chatting and sharing your experience with me. I wish you all the best, and we stay connected.
Absolutely.
And for our listener, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. If you are excited about this kind of stories and you want to know more, then please tune in for the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.